Hey, future mathletes. This is Miss Jackson hopping on today to talk about subtracting integers using rules. So, the last video that we watched, we worked on subtracting integers with models. So, that was number line models and also counters. And so, I understand that can be kind of frustrating for some people because it goes against everything we talked about when we were adding, because subtraction is the opposite of addition. So now let's talk about the rule. So we learned the why we do things, which direction we're going. Now we're just going to learn the flat rule that will work every single time that you are encountering subtraction with integers. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is that we are going to keep the first integer the same. So when you have a subtraction problem, we'll keep the first integer the same. Then we are going to change the subtraction sign to its inverse, which is addition. Subtraction and addition are inverse operations. That means that they undo each other, just like additive inverses undo themselves, so they equal 0. Subtraction and addition also undo themselves. All right, so we keep the first integer the same, change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. And then the last step here is we are going to change the sign of the second number. So what I mean by sign of the second number is if it's positive, we're going to change it to negative. If it's negative, we're going to change it to positive, additive inverses. After we have finished keep, change, then we will use our integer addition rules to solve and find an answer. Okay, friends, let's look at the examples. We're going to practice subtracting integers by rewriting the problem using the additive inverse. The challenge, we're going to find the sum of each column. If you have solved them correctly, then the sum will match. So we have columns E, F, G, and H. When we solve all of these, our sum for E should be negative 19. Our sum for F should be positive 31. And our sum for G should be 4, and our sum for H should be 1. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our integer addition rule. So this was not too long ago, but we'll go ahead and just make a note. When we have same signs, we will be adding and keeping the sign. This is just a little refresher for you. When we have opposite signs, we will be subtracting and using absolute value. And I'm going to run out of room to write that on the side. Absolute value. And of course, we're going to do so many examples that everybody should catch on. So same signs, add and keep the sign. Opposites, we are going to subtract and use absolute value to decide if it is positive or negative. All right, let's work on keep, change. So for the first couple of problems, if you need to write KCC above each aspect of your subtraction problem, that is perfectly okay. This is your paper, your notes. You do it how you need to. But we're going to change this. Keep the first number. Change it from subtraction to addition. And from positive 6, we will now go to negative 6. All right, so I have opposite signs. That means I'm going to subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. And then I'm going to keep it positive because 9 has a greater absolute value. All right, next problem. Keep, change. 4 plus negative 7. Again, these are opposite signs, so I will subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. I'm going to go ahead and change this to negative 3. Negative 7 has a greater absolute value, and it is negative, so my answer will be negative. Moving on. Again, if you need to write KCC over the top, do it if that better helps you. Next one, we're going to keep the negative 7, change it to addition, change the positive to a negative. All right, we have two of the same signs, and negative 7 plus negative 12. We add them up. It's 19, and we keep the sign, so we keep it negative. All right, moving right along. We have -9 minus -9. So we keep the -9, change it to addition, change the -9 to a +9. -9 and 9 are opposites. They're also known as additive inverses. And when we add them together, our sum will be 0. All right, so for the challenge part, we are going to add up 3, -3, -19, and 0. So I'm going to write that down here. 3 plus -3 plus -19 plus 0. All right, I do see some interesting things real quick. 3 and -3 are going to add up to be 0, additive inverses. So I'm going to go ahead and mark those out since they cancel each other. 0 has no value. And then all I'm left with is, in fact, -19. So it matches up. So we'll go ahead and give that a little check mark. And that lets us know that we solved all 4 of those problems correctly. Scrolling back up here to the next problem, we have 7 minus -3. So again, I'm going to keep change. 7 plus 3. These are same signs, so we just add and keep the sign. 7 plus 3 is 10. Both of them are positive, so my answer is positive. Next one, 1 minus -9 is going to be keep 1, change it to addition, change -9 to +9. And 1 plus 9 is, again, 10, and it's going to stay positive. 2 minus 6. Keep 2, change it to addition, and then we are going to change the +6 to a -6. And these are opposite signs, so we subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4, and then it is going to go negative. -6 has a greater absolute value than +2, so it's negative, and our answer is negative as well. All right, friends, last one for this column. We have 12 plus +3. Keep, change. And 12 plus 3 is 15. All right, so I'm going to take my integers for my challenge. I'm going to write them down here. 10 plus 10 plus 15 plus -4. All right, you will notice I went ahead and changed the order that I'm adding in. When you have numbers you are adding, you can change the order. So using commutative property without changing the value. So I wanted to put all of these positive numbers together, and then I would add in that negative. So 10 plus 10 plus 15 is 35. Then 35 plus -4 is going to be positive 31, and that does check out. So we have the correct answer. All right, let's look at the third column, column G. Keep, change. 2 negatives added together will be another negative, so we add and keep the signs. -16. Next one, -5 minus -8. Keep, change. These are opposite signs, so we subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. The positive number has the greater absolute value, so my answer stays positive. All right, next one. 11 minus -5 is going to become 11 plus 5 is equal to 16. Again, if you want to pause the video and work these out on your own to see if you have it, that would be wonderful. Anytime you have a chance to work it out on your own, you are going to learn more than listening to me. 7 minus 6, we will keep, change. And 7 minus 6 is 1, and I'm going to keep it positive. All right, let's go ahead and look at our challenge. We have -16 plus 3 plus +16 plus 1. All right, I do notice that I have a set of additive inverses here. Opposites add up to be 0. So then I'm left with 3 plus 1, which is 4. So that means that my sum is correct. And that means I've solved them all correctly. All right, last column here, and then we will be finished up with our guided notes. -6 minus -8. We are going to keep, change, change. These are opposite signs, so we do subtract. 8 minus 6 is 2. I'm going to leave it positive because 8 has a greater absolute value and it is positive, so my answer is positive. Remember, once we change it to addition, we are no longer looking at this problem. We are only looking at our addition to decide if we are going to go positive or negative. All right, next one is 3 minus 9. So we are going to do keep, change, change. And then opposite signs, so subtraction again. 9 minus 3 is 6. The -9 has a greater absolute value compared to 3. And so my answer will be -6. All right, next one on the agenda is -10 minus -5. And so we are going to do keep, change, change to -10 plus +5. All right, I subtract. 10 minus 5 is 5. And then you guessed it, it's going to go negative because 10 has a greater absolute value and 10 is negative. All right, very last problem. We have made it. Keep, change, change. And 3 plus 7 is 10. And it stays positive because I have two of the same signs. So we add them to keep the sign. All right, let's go ahead and do our challenge. We have +2 plus 10, again, grouping all of our positives together. -6, putting that in parentheses because it comes after an addition or subtraction sound. So I want to make sure I have good math grammar. And then -5 in parentheses. All right, I'm going to add up my two positives. So I have 12. And then I'm going to add up my two negatives. -6 plus -5 is -11. And then when I add those together, I have to subtract because they're opposite signs. 12 plus -11 is 1, and it's going to stay positive. All right, friends, you did a fantastic job going over your notes today and keeping up with the video. I am very proud of y'all for everything that you have accomplished so far. Let's take a quick look at the homework. Again, yours is going to be on Google Slides. And like I said, I use Kami just because it's a little easier to maneuver. So on the skills practice page, you are finding the difference and you want to make sure that you are using keep, change, change for all of those problems. All right. And then we're going to scroll on down to the application practice. And I do want to talk to you about writing subtraction problems because these are kind of tricky. All right, so let's talk about the first one. Jessica had -$68 in her bank account. She then used her credit card to buy a dress. That was $64. What is her account balance now? All right, so when we start this, we're going to write our subtraction problem. Her account balance is 68. We are going to subtract the cost of the dress. The cost of the dress was positive $64. So now that we have the subtraction, we are going to want to change it to addition using keep, change, change. Then we'll want to add those and get an answer. Okay, and you'll have to do that part on your own. All right, let's look at number 2. Alexander the Great was born in the year 356 BC. Anytime you see BC, we're going to be thinking about a negative number. Alexander Graham Bell was born in the year 1847. What is the difference in ages between the two Alexanders? All right, so we're going to take 1847. We are trying to find the difference, and then we want to find the difference between Alexander Graham Bell and Alexander the Great. And so Alexander the Great was born in negative 356. That's how we denote that it is BC. Okay, and again, you'll want to keep, change, change, and get a final answer. The last one that I want to model and get you started on so that you have a good understanding of what you are doing is number 3. It says the temperature was 5 degrees Fahrenheit at noon. At 9 p.m., it was 14 degrees colder. What was the temperature at 9? Again, we're going to start at 5 degrees. We are getting colder, so we're going to use subtraction, and we're getting colder by 14 degrees. In order to correctly solve this, you will need to do keep, change, find a solution. You are going to do that same method for problems 4, 5, and 6. As always, make sure your notes are completed by using the video, and then make sure your homework, both pages, are completed and that you submit in order to get attendance, accurate attendance. Okay. As always, if you have questions, send me a comment on Google Classroom, email me. I will do my best to get back with you in a timely manner. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day.